All right, everybody, welcome back to another deep dive here at the Fast Times News. We like to dig a little deeper into the news that really matters, and today we're looking at, well, honestly, a bit of a bombshell.
Yeah, you could say that.
I mean, Trump's back in the headlines,
Always is, right?
always is. But this time it's with an announcement about who he's going to nominate for Attorney General, and it is a doozy.
It is, if he gets his way, it would be Congressman Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, so Congressman Matt Gaetz, the Attorney General.
Huge implications.
Huge. And, our team's been digging into this. We've got some notes from the latest Fast Times podcast episode. And I wanted to bring you on to kind of really, break down what this could mean, because I think it's easy to just read a headline and be like, oh, wow, that's crazy.
Right.
But what does this actually potentially mean? So first off, for people who maybe haven't been following Gates's, rise to whatever this is, what's his background?
So Matt Gaetz, he's a congressman from Florida, hard-right Republican, and I think that hard-right part is really important here. He's been in Congress for a while now, and he's really made a name for himself by, let's just say challenging the norms.
Oh, yeah.
He was a key player in that whole saga of getting Kevin McCarthy ousted from Speaker of the House, and that's just one example.
Yeah, and he's very much in line with Trump in terms of this idea of draining the swamp and, the deep state.
The deep state, yeah. He's been railing against the deep state for years.
So when we talk about the implications here of Gaetz as AG, I was reading in these notes, and it's not just, oh, he's going to launch some investigations, which is already a big deal, but it's about the entire Justice
The
Department.
entire structure of the Justice Department.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that I think is what's really key here and what people need to understand. He wouldn't just be in charge of specific cases or investigations. It's way bigger than that.
So what does that look like in practice then? What power would he actually have?
Well, think about it. The Attorney General, they set the priorities for the entire Department of Justice. They influence how laws are interpreted, and ultimately, they shape the very definition of justice in this country.
Wow.
So if Gaetz gets this position, he could get rid of people in the DOJ who have been there a long time, appoint people who agree with him and Trump, and even potentially have a say in who gets to be a judge. And that's terrifying to a lot of people.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Because those judges then go on to make decisions that affect all of us.
And that's a lot of power. And we see this reflected in some of the reactions that have been coming out, even within the Republican Party. It wasn't all, high fives and congratulations. I think there was a line there about how Susan Collins, she's kind of more of a moderate Republican, was just like, what?
Yeah, she was outright shock, I think was the quote.
Yeah, and that's telling right there, because she's not someone who's, known for being super outspoken or extreme in her views.
No, and I think that reaction from someone like Collins really underscores why this nomination is causing such a stir. Because, look, Gaetz, he's got a very particular very confrontational style. And let's not forget, he's had his own brushes with legal issues in the past.
Yeah, so this isn't just somebody who's, squeaky clean coming in and people like, well, I don't like his politics. It's a lot more than that.
It's a lot more than that.
So all this kind of leads to this big question of, okay, if he were to actually become the Attorney General, what would that look like?
Right. And I think the big fear for a lot of people is that the Justice Department would cease to be independent. It's supposed to be this independent body that isn't swayed by politics.
Right.
But Gaetz being there could really erode that independence, because what if investigations are only launched against people who Trump and Gaetz see as enemies?
Right.
What if laws are interpreted and twisted to only benefit their agenda? That's the kind of stuff that keeps people up at night.
Yeah, that's a scary thought. I mean, and it's we're already seeing so much, tension and polarization in our politics, and this would just pour gasoline on that fire.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because some people are saying that this whole thing might just be a strategy from Trump. Maybe he knows Gaetz won't actually get confirmed.
Oh, interesting.
But the nomination itself, it gets people talking, it riles up his base, it creates chaos, and that's something Trump's always been good at.
I mean, yeah, you can't deny that he knows how to grab the spotlight.
Exactly.
So, I mean, where do we go from here? I mean, This is obviously a huge story that's just beginning to unfold.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled, because the Senate hearings for this confirmation are going to be must-see TV.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be fireworks.
Yeah, popcorn worthy, for sure.
So, for all of you watching, make sure you stay tuned to the Fast Times News. We're going to be covering all the developments as they happen. And, in the meantime, I want you to really think about this. What if Gaetz does become the Attorney General?
Yeah.
What would that say about the direction of our country? What does it say about the rule of law and justice? These are big questions that we all need to be thinking about. So stay informed, stay engaged, and keep those critical thinking skills sharp.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, there you have it, folks. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye, Mark.